with your host, John Pennington. The Sports Source starts now.
Good Sunday morning and welcome into the Junk Beyond Studios for today's episode of the Sports Source. We've got 90 minutes to fill, and basically you're getting three shows in one today. We're talking Tennessee basketball roster. Changes that are coming, changes that need to be made, changes that are already happening. Then Will Overstreet joins us. We'll talk about spring practice, what's going on with Tennessee. We'll look at the offense moving forward, any rumors coming out of there, what are people hearing. And then the last part of the show, we've got our friend John Wilkerson joining us. It was an end of a radio era in Knoxville this week, so we'll talk to him and Jimmy Himes about the end of sports talk and what's coming next at WNML. That's a full show, so let's just get right into it. First segment of today's program brought to you by the Garza Law Firm. Wherever you are in East Tennessee, there is one name to remember when you need legal help, legal advice, legal representation. That's the Garza Law Firm. Marcos Garza and his team are based right here in East Tennessee. They can help you wherever you may be across our region. The Garza Law Firm, garzalaw.com to learn more. All right, let's welcome in the first group of panelists for today. We have right down there, freshly retired from radio, not from TV. Jimmy Himes. Jimmy, I've still got you listed as 99-1 the sports animal. One last weekend, we'll call you that. I got to change the graphic to longtime media guy. Right here, Ryan Callahan from GoVols247.com. You're not retiring anytime soon, are you?
Not anytime soon.
Okay. And right over here, longtime sports writer, Bob Hodge. Bob, thanks for joining us.
Glad to be here.
All right. I'm going to start today by talking about Tennessee's basketball roster for next year. I think we got a graphic. We can go ahead and put that thing up for you if you want to see it, where we could talk about the different needs on this team. I've listed them simply by guard. You've got B.J. Edwards, who didn't play much this year, and Zakai Ziegler will be coming off the ACL injury. Cameron Carr's coming in. Freddie DeLeon is coming in. I think there was a April Fool's regarding Freddie DeLeon that was popping around yesterday. Josiah Jordan James, senior, but he's got a COVID option. You know, that's one where you wonder, does NIL bring him back? Jemai Mashak, Santiago Vescovi, another senior with a COVID option. Toby Owaka, DJ Jefferson, who redshirted last year. Olivier Nkamhoua, who has already entered the transfer portal. I put him on the roster because technically he could come back. We'll talk about that here in a second. Cade Phillips, incoming freshman. Julian Phillips has the NBA decision. Jonas Adu, JP Estrella, big man that's coming in. And then Uros Plavsic, another senior with a COVID option. All right, the big surprise, and this is where we'll start, Olivier Nkamhoua into the transfer portal. I think most of us figured that he would either return or he would go play European basketball. This could be just simply a bargaining chip. I'm going to go where, if the most money is in Knoxville, if the most money is at another school, if the most money is playing in Finland, that's where I'm going to go. Do you think that's what that is, or do you think this is anywhere but Knoxville?
I think that's what it is. I think it's a bargaining chip. I think it's okay if I go to play pro in Finland. Is, I don't know, some other school, Kansas State, can offer me more money, or somebody else. So I think that's a part of it.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to return to Tennessee, though. I think he's ready to move on. He was inconsistent. When he was good, he was really good, right?
Yeah.
When he wasn't, he might give you 2 or 3 points. So I think he's ready to move on, but I do think it's a bargaining chip to see what he can get NIL-wise, either with another college or versus the European League.
Well, you had Jalen Wright kind of do that after the Orange Bowl this year, where he was like, it would be nice to have a deal. And he starts looking around, and then, you know, you think, is he going into the portal? And the next thing you know, he's got a new deal here. So that does seem to be a new financial opportunity for players. But the rumors are he's kind of grown weary of the way Rick Barnes kind of rides him a little bit. And you can look at that one of two ways. Rick Barnes rides people too much, or Rick Barnes will ride you into being a better player. And after 4 years, it seems like he's just tired of being ridden. Ryan, your thoughts on Olivier Nkamhoua and what it means if you don't have him back?
Well, so there was a report the day after that news came out that he is entering the NBA draft, even though he's entering in the transfer portal.
Yeah.
So now NBA draft for him, does that mean much? We'll see. But I do think there's you're going to see him somewhere else next year. I don't think he's going to be back at Tennessee, but I think the transfer portal gives you another chance to look around. It gives you a bargaining chip, as Jimmy said. I think you're just going to it gives you another option. If the professional market doesn't look very good, then you can look around and see what's out there in the transfer portal with NIL opportunities and things like that.
Bob, I thought it was interesting. I was looking at The Athletic yesterday. They ranked the top 40 or whatever available players in the transfer portal. Olivier Nkamhoua, number 6 in the nation, the 6th best transfer available. And just a glowing report on what a three-point threat he became. And I thought, this is someone who watched the Duke game. But it does talk about whether or not he can become more consistent. But the interesting thing will be if he does wind up somewhere else in college, either that college is going to learn they have a very inconsistent player, or it could be very bad for Barnes if he goes somewhere and becomes consistent.
And it will be interesting to me. I kind of hope, since he's not going to come back to Tennessee, I kind of hope he does go someplace else. Because everybody criticizes Rick Barnes about his defense. You don't let these guys open up on offense. It would be interesting to see him go into another program on Tennessee's level. And do you get an 18 points per game, 8 rebound kind of guy, or does he go someplace else and 2 or 3 or 4 times during the next season you go, wow, he can really play, but you have the peaks and the valleys seem to be more consistent with him. So I kind of hope, since the consensus seems to be he won't be coming back here, which I think would help Tennessee if it does, even for his inconsistencies. It'll be interesting to see if he does play college basketball next year, if he does raise the level of his game.
I think he'd raise the level of his game if he played at a lower level. Raise the level at a lower level. And so I think that's what you would see. I still think he'd be inconsistent if he went to a program that would be on par with the Tennessee.
Yeah, you've got The Athletic actually said he likely would have been a preseason first-team All-SEC pick if he had come back.
Oh,
I don't agree with that one.
No.
That's,
I mean,
again,
once
I think
again,
somebody
I think you're
watched
right.
the
Somebody
Duke
watched the Duke game.
game. Now, the good news for Tennessee to date, I know I was wanting to see what happened with B.J. Edwards. He's a local kid, but didn't play a lot this year. Nobody else, B.J. Edwards included, has hit the portal, to my knowledge, and we checked it 20 minutes ago. No one else has hit the portal. That's a positive. So the next big question is Julian Phillips and whether or not he decides. We know he'll test the waters. They all test the waters at this point. The question is, do you think he'll return? Thoughts? And I know, look, this is absolutely pure 100% guess.
Sure.
Nobody's going to hold you to this.
Yeah, I lean toward him coming back at this point. I think we've seen a few of these cases where you can make the case for the player to come back because he could do better. He could have a better season, raise his stock. In his case, I think there's still a lot of upside there where NBA teams might be willing to take a chance on him. But is he going to look at this season as maximizing his production, maximizing his draft stock? I think he's going to think that another year could really help him because they at least want to see you contribute more consistently than he did this year. He wasn't much of a factor in the NCAA tournament.
Well, and Grant Williams is kind of the exception because he was never a great three-point shooter here, and he did become the 3-and-D guy that they wanted in the NBA. They're projecting him as kind of a 3-and-D guy. Phillips, I mean, shot 20-something% from 3. I think it would behoove him to come back and show that, I can actually shoot out here. But Jimmy, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it would help his stock. I agree with Ryan. I think he's going to come back. And also, he should have more scoring opportunity, right? If they lose the players, and I think they're going to lose, that puts him in position to be more of a focal point of the offense.
That's a perfect tease.
I wondered if Nkamhoua leaving almost maybe improves the chances of him returning, gives him a better chance to be showcased.
Okay, perfect tease, because I'll tell you in a second what we're going into. Let's go ahead and tell you what's coming up on today's show the rest of the way. Hoops portal importance. That's, how has Rick Barnes done in the portal since being at Tennessee, and is this more important than the year? Will Overstreet will be with us. We're going to talk spring practice, offensive areas to watch this year. Where could they improve? Where might they step back? John Wilkerson's going to be joining us, celebrating sports talk and the end of a radio era. But when we come back, we will be talking about the production that Tennessee is losing. If all these seniors go, and I've actually worked it out too, if Phillips somehow wins, but if all these guys go, you are losing a ton of production. We'll show you that, and we'll get into the transfer portal and everything else next. Come on back on the Sports Room.